Welcome back, my beautiful people, to another episode of the BambooSZN Podcast. I'm your host, sober wellness coach Dorian Wormsley. This is the podcast where you'll hear stories of transformation, growth, resilience. Me and my guests share our personal raw stories to help you feel inspired and motivated. We got some good news. It's officially 1 year anniversary since starting the BambooSZN Podcast. Woo! We out here doing it, baby. 1 year of consistency. I hope that inspires you to stay consistent with whatever it is you're doing or thinking about starting. Get that podcast going. Do what you need to do. Just take action. This episode is also sponsored by Optimal Human Superfood Green Juice. Help your digestion, help your energy levels. Use the link in the description of this podcast to get your free shaker and 5 sticks. My guest today is the CEO of St. Jude's Ranch for Children. She's the founder of programs serving fostered youth, homeless families, and victims of exploitation. She's also the hustler for hope and has a doctorate in public policy. I bring you the phenomenal, amazing Dr. Christina Vela.
Thanks. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for making time. Busy woman. As you sent me your bio, I was like, whoa. There's no way I'd be able to read all of that.
No, please
don't. A lot of things you were able to accomplish, a lot of things you do, a woman in leadership. Like I said, the CEO of St. Jude's Ranch for Children. It's just amazing.
It is. I'm so grateful. A girl like me doing all these incredible things.
And we're going to learn who this girl like you is.
Yeah.
And if you could give us a breakdown of what you do for St. Jude's Ranch for Children and kind of what that is, because I know when I first met you told me, I initially linked it to St. Jude's that you see on TV.
Yep.
Right? So I kind of want to just, if you could break that down for us.
Yeah, for sure. So our St. Jude's Ranch for Children is not connected to the hospital. So of course people get us confused, but we've been here in Southern Nevada since 1966.
Wow.
So if you've driven to Lake Mead or Hoover Dam or go to Arizona through Boulder City, you have driven by our 40-acre campus since 1966. And it's such an incredible organization doing extraordinary things, a little bit out of sight, out of mind over there in Boulder City. Right?
Yeah.
You know, not so many people driving by that much. But our impact in Southern Nevada has been profound. And September 20th is our 59th anniversary. And in this community, being around for 59 years says a lot. And I'm so grateful I've been the CEO for the last almost 8 years.
Oh, wow.
And it has been incredible. What an honor, what a privilege it is of mine to just have such an incredible place to be part of.
And what is it that St. Jude's Ranch for Children does?
Yeah, so we have, I'll start by saying we're really a community of hope. And the kind of hope I'm talking about is the hope that changes lives. You know, so many of the children and young people we serve do come from really hard places. They come from child abuse and neglect, abandonment, exploitation, homelessness, hopelessness. And we serve children starting from birth all the way up to age 18 in our treatment foster care program. And then we serve 18 to 24-year-olds that are experiencing homelessness. And so many of our young people have a broken heart. They have a broken heart because their families, because of disconnect, because of unaddressed mental health issues, substance abuse, all the things that happen that adults are dealing with, and then their children get impacted by it, oftentimes, negatively. And so the kids that come to live with us don't want to be in foster care. Are you homeless youth? They don't want to be homeless. And they come to us thinking, another agency, another social worker, another therapist, it's all the same. And our goal is really to create pathways to hope and healing. And those two things have to go hand in hand. And so the hope I'm talking about is not just like passive hope, like, I sure hope their life gets better.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hope rising when a person even like you, right? Like hope starts rising in our lives when we say that's enough. Or we start believing maybe I could live a little different than my family. Maybe I could be the first to graduate high school. Maybe I could be the first to not have a baby when I'm in high school. Maybe I could be the first to go to college. That's hope rising. It starts rising. It's like literally in your toes, and once it gets in your belly, right? And you feel that fire, like I got it. That's what we're talking about when hope is rising. But we have to pair it with healing, because we know that the effects of abuse and neglect, of having a broken heart, are real, right? The body is keeping score. The heart's keeping score. The walls are up, the boundaries. And so we have to help and create a safe space where young people can start to heal from the inside out, so that when you pair that with healing and hope, incredible things are possible. And I get to bear witness to it in so many ways by our work at St. Jude's Ranch for Children and so many other things that I've had the privilege of doing.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Because I remember I met you at, shout out to Ashley Burney.
Yep.
Your Bold is Beautiful. She had an event and I was there, and I just, something in me at that point in my life, I was like, this is what, a year and a half ago now, maybe almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I'm outgoing, I can speak, but I don't do too well, or I didn't do too well in like those type of situations. Because I always felt I don't belong, or I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know who to relate to. And I told myself, that event specifically, I was like, talk to people you don't know, introduce yourself. And I had recently at that point listened to a podcast where they said, when you go into a room or you go into those kind of places, you need to tell at least 3 people what it is you do and who you are. So now moving forward, I always do that. No matter what, try to find a way, because when you speak, you never know who's you're talking to. Yeah. You never know who's going to hear you and be like, oh, I'm actually looking for this, or I'm actually need this, or they know somebody. Sure enough, I saw you. I made small talk with you, and there was somebody else. I forgot. I can't remember who was there, but you started telling me what you do and what St. Jude's for Ranch for Children is. And I'm like, wow, like that's what something I want to somehow, some way help. Whatever it is I can do, because I grew up as a kid living in animal motels with my parents, experiencing homelessness, experiencing all those things you mentioned earlier. And it was almost like a full circle moment. How did you get into this type of work? Let's take it back. Where are you from, Christina?
Yeah, from Southern California.
What city?
The San Fernando Valley, Sun Valley.
Okay.
Right in the little hood. Not so nice of a place. But let's see. So my dad immigrated from Mexico. Okay. And he found himself this beautiful American girl who didn't speak no Spanish, and my dad didn't speak any English, but they spoke the language of love. Okay. And literally went across the railroad tracks where the Mexicans weren't supposed to go across this side and the white people weren't supposed to go that side. And my parents fell in love. And I'm the oldest, and I'm the only girl.
Wow. How many brothers?
2 brothers.
Okay.
So there's 3 of us total. We're one of the smaller families. My dad there's 14 brothers and sisters. So my dad comes from a really big family. And so we were always the family that just found a way to help. We didn't have a lot. One would say by socioeconomic status, we were poor, but it didn't ever feel that way. I didn't have the fancy things that maybe actually nobody in my neighborhood had the fancy things. So it just felt normal. Yeah. But we always had enough tortillas. We always had enough rice and beans. There was always enough. And we always had a lot of family coming and going. And my mom, interestingly, my mom had been in foster care. And my mom was an only child. My mom passed away a couple years ago, but she was an only child, and she met my dad, who had this big, gigantic family, this big Mexican Catholic family. And my mom fell in love with my dad, and she fell in love with this family. And this family that then provided space to fulfill her dreams and to heal her heart from all the things that she had gone through. And when we were growing up, she never talked about foster care. She never talked about any of that stuff. She was so present in being like a mama bear. I mean, she was mama bear. And so it's really interesting that as I got older and sort of started working in social work, then I started realizing, like, wait a minute, maybe there was more influence. But she said no, like she never really talked about being in foster care, but there was something about the helper in our family. Like my mom and dad always counseled young couples or people having problems, or my mom would help do my family's taxes. I mean, you name it, my mom and dad found a way to help. And so I just grew up in a house where the dining room table literally wasn't that big, but somehow there was always room for everybody. Somehow at Thanksgiving, my mom could make a 10-pound bag of potatoes feed, 30 people. somehow through that magic of family, we were just always there to help each other. And it doesn't mean that, there was tough times, no doubt about that. So I just grew up in a place where we just help each other and in a neighborhood where we help each other. I grew up being a little bit of a rebel.
Okay,
though.
here it comes. Let's go.
Pretty early on, because I did mention I come from a pretty, male-dominated. My dad sort of, the father of the house. The boys could do everything different than I could. There was a double standard. I'm like, I'm the oldest. How come I can't go out?
Yeah.
But there was all these rules, and so, me and my dad fought quite a bit, and I always thought I knew a little better. So starting in middle school, not even when I was like in high school, but like in middle school, I was a rebel without a cause. I was out doing all kinds of things, ditching school. I think like 74 days in a row, I didn't go to like 7th grade or something.
Oh, wow.
Awful, like early. I was getting into some stuff. And in my neighborhood, it was very, lots of gangs, lots of, unhealthy living. And somehow I just kind of made my way through all of that. And then I got to high school and was still living, interesting. I love lowriders and car shows and, cruising and all those things back in the valley. And then I found myself pregnant in high school. And that was a really interesting time of my life because, of course, then I was disappointing my family and they were hopeful that I'd be the first to go to college. And long story short, I got married in high school because that's what I guess that's what you do when you get pregnant in high school. I don't know. My family had a lot of influence around me getting married to this person who ended up not being a good partner for me and wasn't good to me. And then the magic happened. I had this beautiful daughter, this beautiful baby girl. And there was nothing like locking in to say, okay, like I got to find a different way to live my life. I'm not going to be, unfortunately, me being pregnant in high school was not out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Nobody prepped us for college. Nobody thought we were doing anything with our lives, right? Unfortunately. And
how old were you at the time? Was like 17, 18?
I was 17.
17?
Yeah. So I graduated from high school and found my way into college through equal opportunity. I am so grateful. I went to Cal State Northridge and I checked all the boxes for equal opportunity. Spanish was my first language. My father was an immigrant.
Oh, wow.
I was a victim of domestic violence. I had a baby in high school. Check, check, check. They let me in.
Yeah.
They let me into college. I was not prepared. They're like, you have to go take an SAT. I'm like, what's that? And where do I do that? Like, I don't know anybody I didn't know anybody that had ever gone to college. So I just started like not overthinking it. Just like, I didn't have a choice. I needed a pathway out of that neighborhood. I needed a pathway out of an unhealthy relationship. And I needed to set myself up to be my daughter's protector and to provide. And I'm really grateful that I found that pathway out. And so education helped me completely change my life.
So you go to CSUN, and then at what point did you start to realize you wanted to get into the kind of work you're in now? Because if I'm not mistaken, you said you've been into this public work 25 years?
My daughter will be very angry if I admit that she's 33. So 29 years I've been a social worker. Yeah.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah.
Mostly. What was it that kind of.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Social work degrees don't require math. And I'm not that smart.
I like that.
I'm not that smart. I know how to hustle, but I'm not that smart. And math was not my jam. And so I remember I don't know what to study. And so they're like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I really don't know. I just need a good job. I had no idea. I didn't come from a family of professionals or doctors or social workers. I just didn't know what to do with myself. But they're like, well, social work might be good for you. You could pick different things. It didn't require math. It was something I could get through. During college, my freshman year, I was getting a divorce. It was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. I was working full time, going to school full time, single mom. life was hard. Life was hard. But, you know, I found a few helpers that could guide me and didn't want to see me fail when they started to learn a little bit more about my story. And the day I graduated from college, even my dad, you know, there was this moment when my dad had tears in his eyes at my graduation. And he said, "I'm so sorry that I ever doubted you." And I said, you know, I'm actually going to thank you because this has been the hardest 4.5 years of my life. And there were so many times I didn't want to do this. I wanted to give up, but I kept you and my daughter's father in mind because I needed to prove to them that they had it all wrong about me. Mm-hmm. So when I was exhausted or when I was angry that I couldn't go party or go to I couldn't live in a dorm or I wasn't like hanging out, doing what college students do. I was working full-time, going to school full-time and trying to be a good mom. I remembered those two people and their face and like, I will be damned if I prove them right. Like I am going to find a way. And so what I told my dad was, I'm actually going to thank you because what I realize is that I proved to myself what I can do. So like, I've never looked back. So like, watch out world, right? Like I figured out what hard work can accomplish. And so here I am, I'm still hustling.
And then what was your first job or career into social work to where this journey began?
So a friend of mine, I was getting ready to graduate. I was like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do now? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So a friend of mine knew of a treatment foster care agency in the San Fernando Valley, and they had a program for teen moms in foster care. And so it was like, perfect. Well, I wasn't in foster care, but I was a teen mom and I could relate to some of those challenges. And so I became a caseworker at a local nonprofit in the San Fernando Valley, helping teen girls that were in foster care that had babies. And I fell in love with just being a helper. You know, I could get paid to help people. Like, this is awesome. I could drive around and see kids and talk with them and maybe be that one person that says, I believe in you. That felt good. Yeah. And here I am, almost 30 years later, and I still absolutely love my choice. And while the things I have seen have been painful, no doubt about that, right? People do awful things to their children, you know, and the world is harsh to people. And yet I still absolutely believe in the power of hope. And that's why I sort of tease, like, if I could change my title officially, I'm a hustler for hope. When I was a kid, I was a rebel without a cause. I'm a rebel with a cause now.
Ooh.
Like, I am a rebel with a cause. I am hustling all day long to help create opportunities for people to see the best in themselves. I'm not that smart. I just know how to work, right? Like, I just knew how to put the work in. And so how do we help other people learn? You don't have to know exactly what you're doing. You just take a step and another step and another step. And then you could be like a chick like me who 30 years later is like, how do I have a doctorate degree? How did all this happen? It's wild.
With the work you do, it's got to be, I don't know. Or let me ask you this first. Or should I ask that from first?
There's so much to talk about.
No, because it's two questions, but I want to make sure I frame them in the right direction.
Okay.
But anyways, let's go with this. With the work you do, there has to have been moments of like you said, people would treat their kids. You might have seen some stuff and that heard some stuff.
Yeah.
How were you or even still to this day, like able to stay grounded or to check in with yourself, you know, because I'm sure you've seen some traumatic things. Like,
yeah.
How have you been able to handle those things?
Yeah. Well, I'm a person of deep faith. So I am divinely guided. I don't have the answers. Sometimes I don't know how to deal with it. And I can just let it go. And I can just ask the stars and the moon and the everything, God, everybody to help scenarios and just let me be a helper. And so, yeah, I mean, there's times when my heart literally feels like it's breaking, right? When I am looking into the eyes of a kid who feels so alone. Or most recently we had a girl who ran away because, you know, little kid, you know, teenagers, they think they know it all. Mm-hmm. They have no idea what's waiting for them out here on these streets. And after about 2 weeks, she was found unresponsive, OD'd on fentanyl, didn't have any shoes on, so had second-degree burns on the bottom of her feet, woke up intubated in the PICU, and not one person, she had not one family member come and see her. It was me, my chief program officer, and our case manager that for a month literally sat by her bed as much as we could, just rubbing her hand. And then when the tube came out, she's like, what happened? You know, and then she's like trying to reconcile this near-death experience she had. And then it got worse, and then it got better. And it breaks my heart. And yet I just find such gratitude in being able to be there for that 1 hour or 5 hours, just being one anchor for her in that moment. Am I petrified about she got released from the hospital on Monday of this week, like just a couple days ago. Am I petrified about what's to come for her? Yes. But I'm so grateful to bear witness to incredible miracles. That little girl, like, she almost died. So one person at a time. One person at a time.
And she ran away from the ranch?
She did. Yeah. You know, because sometimes it's easier to run to things or run away from things. It's hard to have boundaries or, you know, they think they know better, run in to find that friend who they thought was their friend, who then put them in a bad position. And she's still ruminating on that friend, wondering like, but I need to go talk to her. And we're like, are you really going to consider running away again? She's like, well, even if I do, I'll never do drugs again. And you're like, oh my gosh, right? Like, what are we going to do? And yet still there's enough to just keep working. Just keep working with her every day. Just keep working. And one times how many kids, right? Like, so in my 30 years, I'm so grateful to have just been around people that do incredible things and hard things and sometimes not so good things. And I have a young man who still calls me from high desert prison. He remembers my cell phone number and we talk. And I wish he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And we talk about when he gets out, how it's going to be different. And I don't know if it will or won't.
He's getting out though.
He's been in and out a few times. Yeah. But at some point, people hit rock bottom. I don't know when that is. And I don't ever have to bear witness. I just have to believe it's possible. That's my only job. That's how hope lives in me. I never have to bear witness to it. I just have to believe it's possible so that what I do today matters and what I help my team and other people do. So we're just planting seeds of hope all day long, waiting and believing that someday all those seeds are going to flourish into something absolutely amazing. I may never see it, and I'm okay with that. I don't have to.
You've been there, the CEO of St. Jude's Ranch for Children for 8 years now. Mm-hmm. How did that come about? What were you doing before, and how'd that?
Yeah, so my whole career, I mean, I've worked for the city, I've worked for the county, for Clark County, I've worked for the state. I've kind of been, you know, I had worked for St. Jude's once before though, from 2010 to 2013. And my job right before coming back in 2017 was I was working as the coordinator for the coalition, the first coalition in the state of Nevada to prevent the commercial sexual exploitation of children, or an anti-sex trafficking coalition that Governor Sandoval at that time had put together. And so I was working on anti-trafficking stuff, not looking for a new job, content. Unfortunately, at that time, my mom had been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And so my mom and dad had been married for 47 years.
Wow.
I'm the oldest and I'm the only girl, right? So there was a lot of caregiving. I had to put my social work hat on, advocate for my mom through the medical system, trying to take care of my dad, whose whole world's flipped upside down. And I had this, you know, this great job, but I could balance it all. And then on a Friday afternoon, I got a random phone call on my cell phone from a board member from St. Jude saying, we're doing a quiet search for a new CEO and you don't know me and I don't know you, but your name's come up a couple of times.
Wow.
In the past. And so what do you do in these days? And I was like, well, this is weird and amazing. And so within a week, I had a job offer to come and be the CEO.
When you accepted it and got into it, those first, let's say the first few months or a year, was there ever any like imposter syndrome or any doubt?
Always.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never been a CEO before.
Yeah.
I'd never been a CEO. Like a girl like me, a CEO? Stop it. Yeah, I didn't, I knew what I was doing and didn't know what I was doing all at the same time, right? I cared deeply about the organization, a lot of imposter syndrome. I mean, I walked into an office where I used to go in when I worked before I wasn't the CEO. I'd go in and talk to the CEO and feel a certain way going into her office. And then that office was mine. So, but it's with a whole heart full of gratitude, right? I have a lot to learn. I started meeting with people, asking questions. I'm really curious about things. I love to flip things on its head. What if we did it totally different? Why do we do it that way? How do you want to do it? So I just got into my groove. It took a while. At Tease, I sort of had to go around on a little apology tour because St. Jude's maybe people weren't that connected to it anymore, or the volunteers weren't feeling supported, or all these things. So I just went around and talked to people. I felt like I was a politician or something, talking to people. And it just set me up to just genuinely feel like, okay, I got this. And there's still moments when I'm like, who do I think I am? I mean, we can talk about it, but we just opened up a new campus to care for child victims of sex trafficking, the Healing Center. So we built it from ground up. It's 10 acres. It was a $30 million project, and we raised it in 2 years and built it in 2 years.
Raised the $30 million in 2 years and built it in 2 years.
Yes.
And is it connected to the regular ranch?
Yes.
Is that included with the 40 acres, or is 40 acres is one and this is another 10?
No, that's the 10 acres is part of the 40.
Okay.
So it was undeveloped land. And I had started thinking about wanting to do this pre-COVID, but then COVID happened, and we had to pivot and really figure out how to keep, because during COVID, we didn't close our doors. We were still accepting children, and they had COVID, and there was so much going on. So that the idea of the Healing Center kind of went on the side for a moment. But as I started, there was so many moments when I was like, who do I think I am? Asking people to write big fat checks. And then I was like, remember, it's not about me. So I can tell a story about a kid who needs a place like this. And so this idea of being able to go around our community and just ask people, we have a sex trafficking problem in this community, and you can be part of the problem or you can be part of the solution. You have to pick, right? And so offering an activation for people to help, right? And it's incredible with the right, people want to help. And so I had $1 million checks written out on little paper checks where the zeros, literally they wrote that many zeros, like a checkbook out, like an old school checkbook. Who still has one?
That's crazy.
It's so crazy. And then there was people that wrote me a check for $1,000. And for them, that $1,000 in their fixed income or their retirement meant so much. So imposter syndrome, a lot, yes. Who do I think I am? But then I just snap back into it, but it's not about me, right? I'm just trying to be a helper. So from that place, all things are possible.
It's not about me. I like that you say that, because for me, when I had my imposter syndrome, that was kind of what helped me shift out of it. Was I'm feeling I'm not good enough, or I'm feeling I shouldn't be in this position or doing these things because I'm focusing on myself. But if I shift it to where I'm in this career, I'm doing the things I'm doing to help serve others,
Right.
there is no imposter syndrome. I'm
right.
literally helping people.
You're
That's it.
You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it feels right, and you feel it click, right? You almost you click into gear, right? Congratulations, a 1-year anniversary of doing this. We met before you had this.
Yeah.
When you probably had this as a dream, right? And
Yeah, it
at
was just an
some
idea.
point, it locked in, and here you are a year later. What a beautiful thing. It's just incredible. But yeah, I mean, it's scary to do things different. It's scary to commit to something that we've never done before. Or if, I didn't have role models of CEOs in my family. I don't know how to do this, but I know how to care. I know how to work hard. You put all those things together and incredible things are possible.
How, being a woman in leadership, what have you done, or what's helped you get better at it?
I think I just try to stay curious, right? I don't have I'm an idea generator. That's like one of my superpowers. So I know that about myself. So, you know, I can, like, somebody can tell me about a problem and I just have like 8 different ideas. And so I've learned how to harness those ideas and not to give them to everybody at once, because it can overwhelm people, right? I'm like, no, you don't have to go do 8. Just think about them.
Yeah.
So I've been growing. I've watched other leaders that I admire, or others that I'm like, ooh, do I want to show up like that? And then I make a decision not to, because I want to be different. I've been hurt by other leaders, by other nonprofit leaders in this community. And a lot of nonprofit leaders in this community are women. And there is something about women coming after women, sometimes to support and sometimes not to. And I've learned a lot of valuable lessons about just about being. And I won't shy away from being the kind of person that will still share wild and crazy ideas and ask people to partner with us. I assume the best in people until they prove otherwise.
Yeah.
And a few people have proved otherwise. And, you know, I have a few battle wounds from it. And it's harsh when it's from other women, because it's like allegedly women supporting women. You're like, well, what is that? And the nonprofit space, sometimes there's this just like unhealthy competition. And it's like, there's enough people in need for all of us to do our thing. Stop it. So there's times when I take a step forward, and there's times I'll walk into rooms where I take a step back. You know, I don't need to have an opinion about everything anymore. I don't have to have, like, I don't know. I just learning how to manage in a relatively small community, right? Las Vegas, Southern Nevada is big, and yet the nonprofit space is relatively small, and the corporate, right? Like, I mean, we're relatively small. We could go to a restaurant and run into, you know, the mayor and the city council members or whatever. So you learn a lot about how to manage and how to take a step forward or take a step back. And
why do you think it's like that within the, not only just the women's space, but the nonprofit space? Do you think it's ego, or it's interesting? Because the reason I ask, because a good friend of mine, she would go to a lot of women empowerment events. And I remember one time she expressed to me, she's starting to feel sometimes it becomes almost like a Mean Girls club in a sense sometimes, you know, like, because I will see it too. I see not the Mean Girl aspect, but I will see like a lot of women empowerment events. I'm like, it's amazing. Like, I think it's great women getting together, supporting. But then sometimes I sit back and think, I'm like, why are there so many different ones?
Because people are trying to find their tribe, because there's like drama everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like, there's this one here on this brunch, and then there's this lunch, and I'm looking, it's held by like 4 or 5 different. I'm like, y'all all can't just. I get everybody has to get along, doesn't have to get along, but it's like, it's just so interesting. There's so many separate and almost divided. But like you said, people are trying to find their tribe.
Yeah, they're trying to find their tribe, and it's all good. Everybody's not for everybody. And so, you know, everybody's not for everybody. And I have those preferences about people who I am like, that's not my people. And then I find, you know, people who are really supportive and want to, you know, I'm big about like, I'm not perfect. I'm not looking for anybody that's perfect. I just want to be authentic, right? We just got to be real. So, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah. But everybody's not for everybody. It's okay.
Everybody's not for everybody. That is the quote of the day.
So you call yourself the hustler for hope. What does that mean to you personally?
Really just never giving up. I mean, I believe that when hope mixes with other things, right? Hope alone is not enough to change a life, right? We need environments that are supportive. We need adults and people around us that help lift us up, right? Whether children or each other. But hustling is something so natural for me, right? I've been hustling my whole life in all kinds of ways. And now I get to do something good with it, right? And I get to harness this energy, this power, this God-given power that I have, that I feel in my belly all the time. Like I'm constantly like, I have a new idea about something, and how do I help that kid, or how do we help that population, or how do we grow food, or how do we, like, the world's problems are so big, and I can't fix that. I can't change the world, but I can think about what I can contribute. Not because I'm the end all solution, not because my idea is better than anybody else's, but I'm just willing to do some work. And so hustling for hope gives me this constant sort of thing to reach for and to just keep hustling, just keep working.
And with the St. Jude Ranch for Children, what type of things, activities or programs do you guys have there to help kids while they're there? Mm-hmm. And what's the goal to like, they become 18, they, get a job, like what kind of...
Yeah. Well, it's always different. It depends on what age they come. I mean, we've had a 21-day-old baby. We've had teen mothers with their babies because I love teen moms. So we have a program where they come and live with us at any stage of their pregnancy. They're girls in foster care. So they already victims of abuse and neglect, already with a broken heart, looking for love in all the wrong places, find themselves pregnant. And if we're not careful, that baby and that mom will be another generational cycle of all the negative things, right? Because generally moms and babies in foster care have a hard time staying together.
Wow.
So we immediately are trying to break that cycle by keeping that baby in that mom's legal custody the entire time they're with us while they're still going to high school and graduating from high school and thinking about college and getting them prepared to be the best kind of parent they can and to fulfill their own, personal dreams. So we care for teen moms. We care for large sibling groups. We're really passionate about supporting siblings. And that really comes from a place of like, you imagine it's tough to be a kid in foster care. It's tough to be a victim of abuse and neglect. It's tough to come into a strange home, even if we're really nice people. It's so scary. But the system can be so inherently disrespectful to relationships because it will separate siblings. So siblings will end up in, a sibling set of 3 could literally be in 3 different homes. Mm. So not only is it so traumatic for them, but we take away their support system, And so at the ranch, we're able to keep large sibling groups together. Back in 2013, I was so grateful to be a champion, and we wrote a sibling bill of rights that was passed at the Nevada legislature that protects the rights of siblings in foster care, and it's still a law today.
Wow.
And it doesn't mean, we would love that the law would say that they have to live together, but that's not always realistic. But some of those laws protect that say older siblings know what the goals are for the younger siblings, because sometimes they get adopted and with a closed adoption, and then the kids lose track of each other, and you have older teenagers who are like, I lost my sister to some adopted family and they don't let me see her, and how heartbreaking that is for them. Right? How it completely devastates their life. So we care for siblings, our sex trafficking, helping these young girls get on a pathway to healing so that they don't become a trafficking victim at 25 or 35 or 45 years old. Right? And then, our goal for them, and we have all kinds of training and behavioral health support and school support and tutoring and just good old fashioned learning how to play. We have playgrounds, and they get bikes and scooters and just learn how to play. Especially if you've grown up in a dysfunctional home, maybe play wasn't safe, right? Maybe it wasn't safe to laugh. Maybe it wasn't safe to say you like that food or not this food, right? And so we're trying to help kids have a lot of choice so that they can start to have a greater sense of self-determination and that self-esteem, which is a driver of all things, right? You have to feel good about yourself, to believe that you are worthy of a good, loving relationship, or that you're worthy of pursuing your dream, right? You have to believe that. And if you're a little kid who's been told you're not that good, or you feel responsible for your mom or your dad's problems, it's really hard to think that you have anything to give to the world. So the space is about creating a safe environment where kids can be kids, right? And where they can create some positive childhood memories, because I can't take away the negative stuff, but can we layer on positive things in their lives so that when they look back on this time, it's going to be hard for them as a 25 or 35-year-old to talk about their childhood. But maybe they'll be like, but that one summer or for a couple of years, I lived at that one place and those people really cared about me. Mission accomplished, right?
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Outside of the ranch and that type of work, are there any other things you're passionate about and enjoy?
Yeah. I mean, my family is awesome. I have 3 kids. They're all adults. They live in town and we hang out a lot. We have a lot of family time. We camp and do all kinds of stuff. I love to cook and have my son's lacrosse.
You know, make mole?
Yes.
Do you really?
And enchiladas and all kinds of good stuff.
I don't understand how people don't like mole. I always tell them.
There's people in my family. My husband does not like mole.
That's crazy.
I'm like, I don't know.
That's wild.
But my dad lives in town still, so we spend a lot of time together. I love to work out. I do Pilates. It is my safe space. I do Pilates 4 days a week.
Where do you go?
Club Pilates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm currently doing my Pilates teacher training.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm about 4 months in now.
It is.
So I'm learning.
I used to go hard and fast, like the super hot, sweaty classes, hot yoga, hot Pilates. You know, so much of like such a busy life is like, there's just moments when you just want some quiet. And, you know, you're like, okay, don't die, keep breathing, right? Yeah. And so the hot classes and we're moving and all that, I love that. But I'm older now. I'm in my 50s now. I got to slow, you know. I really want strength. I want longevity of life, right? I want to be able to, I don't have any grandkids, but when I do, I want to be able to chase them and have a good time, right? I want a quality of life. And it just feels like strengthening my body, right? And really like stretching and all the things that Pilates offers to me makes me feel really strong on the inside so I can deal with all this crazy things happening around me. Mm-hmm. And then I have a friend whose husband's a personal trainer. So today, Wednesdays, it's going to be brutal. So I love to work out. I didn't always have that workout energy, but it is a great outlet, and I don't have to think about the tough things waiting for me in my phone. I know there'll always be text messages after I'm done with my class, and yet still I carve that time out, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to do that because the days are long, and you know, I work out at night, and I'm grateful that I can do that. And
I want the audience to hear that. In your 50s, CEO of a huge nonprofit.
Yeah.
It ain't like you have all the free time in the world.
5 days a week. I am grinding.
Out
5 days
time.
a week. Yes.
Because as somebody's a fitness coach, I hate when I see people with excuses. I don't got time. I was saying this to somebody today, one of my clients. I said, you cannot treat working out as an extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
It's almost mandatory unless you have a physically demanding job where you're a construction worker or anything. Yeah. Other than that, a lot of people have sedentary jobs or even minimal movement jobs. Working out is not an extracurricular activity. It's needed. It's your body. It's literally needs life. It is
my life. Yeah.
Especially if you're around my age in your 30s. If you want to make it to your 50s like Christina and be able and moving, it starts now.
Yeah.
As you get older, it's only going to get harder. You're only going to get busier.
Yeah.
So it's better to build the habit now to where when you do get 50 and life gets busy, you still know how to carve up that time.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't want to break an ankle.
Ooh.
Or I love wearing high heels still. So I got to strengthen those ankles, and I want good hips so I don't break a hip.
Great mindset.
There is some mindset here, right? Like I do not want to not wear my high heels. People know that. I tease, they're my running shoes. But you know, I got to take care of my body, right? I do actually, as part of my practice, I thank my body on a regular for putting up with me.
Putting up with you.
Because there are days when this water bottle, this might be as much water as I've had for half the day. I've had 4 cups of coffee and maybe something to eat, maybe not usually. I don't drink enough water at times. I don't sleep I sleep good, but I work out. I go long days. I'm grateful that my body puts up with me.
Yeah.
I'm a lot.
You mentioned earlier that your mom did pass away a few years ago.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago.
So it's right after COVID? Like 2021?
Yeah. No. I guess it's been 6 years. It was 2019. It was before COVID.
Yes. I keep thinking it's 2026.
Yeah, it was before COVID.
I'm fasting forward. Wow, so before COVID.
Yeah.
And it was lung cancer?
Mm-hmm.
How long did she...
It was a couple of years. She fought a good fight. She had been a smoker for a long, long time, but then had quit. Like she hadn't smoked a cigarette in 30 years.
Really?
Yes. 30 years.
And then it developed.
And then she started having like lung, like COPD stuff, like breathing issues. Like it sounded like asthma. And then it was like, well, that's weird. And then it became COPD. And then it was like, that's weird. And then literally like one day it was like, oh, you have stage 4 lung cancer in both lungs.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the time that I was doing a lot of hot yoga. And I remember I do thank my body a lot. And I was like, I'm so grateful for my lungs. I'm so grateful for my lungs. So I will do it because she can't. And so my mom was also working on her doctorate degree. My mom had never gone to college. When I got my bachelor's degree, she was like, maybe I should go back to school. Now remember, she was a kid who aged out of foster care, didn't have a lot of things, fell in love with my dad and had a family, and that was good. But she started dreaming herself, and she went back to college. And when she got diagnosed, she was working on her doctorate degree. I didn't have a dream of having a doctorate at that time. So she was working on her dissertation, got lung cancer, kept trying to work on it, and then the disease got progressively worse, and so she couldn't. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, well, I got to close that circle. So I gotta like close that cycle, right? So then I applied and got my doctorate degree, and I wish she had gotten hers, but in her honor, I worked my tail off and got one for her.
As that happens, the lung cancer, and it's 2019, she passes. That goes right into 2020, which when COVID happened, all this stuff. How were things for you during that period?
It was wild. It was wild. My dad has a broken heart. He'd been married to the love of his life, right? My mom did everything in the house. So I'm trying to help my dad figure out how to pay bills and manage life. A lot of things happen as a result of my mom's passing. And so you just be a helper. Just keep, I know I see her like, I see hummingbirds everywhere I go. A few people have been around me when a hummingbird's like right here, and you're like, yes, Mom, I see you, so I'm so grateful to live this life in her honor. I know she's watching. I know she's guiding. I know she's helping me. But it was hard. It's been hard. My whole life is different now. Our whole family is different. Traditions are not the same anymore. Christmas isn't the same. For a couple of years, we kept trying to keep the same traditions, but then it felt like this huge void. So then I realized, we got to start creating new traditions. We just have to do things different, because it's never going to feel the way it used to feel. It's never going to feel that way again. Grateful we had it, but now it's time to create something new. And so, we got to mix it up a little.
Because I have it's crazy. I don't know what's going on in the world or the energy in the universe. I have like about 3 friends of mine over the past few months, all lost their mothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of my good friends, I don't know how his mom passed. I didn't even know. She was struggling with things and passed. Another stage 4 cancer, and another, they got a heart attack. And they weren't like old age, like they were, still fairly young. And it was like it might've been like March, April, May of these 3 friends that I had. And I'm just like, wow, like
life is fragile.
And from your experience over the past 5 years, what's like, I guess, advice or a mindset shift that's helped you with grieving those past 5 years?
Yeah. Well, it gets a little easier, and then it gets harder again, and then it gets easier, and then it gets harder. So it's this fluid thing. I think I had to rationalize how awful it was to watch my mom be so sick. We'd had hospice and did the whole thing in the house, and me and my dad took care of my mom. And so, but I just had, maybe, I don't know, I just sort of believe like what a gift it is to love somebody so much, to enjoy all the amazing things that comes with love. But if you love deeply and you can appreciate the joy that love gives you, you have to accept that it also comes with pain. So how lucky am I to love somebody so much that it hurts so much? So that was one thing. And then I watched, my mother ushered me into the world, and I got to accompany her on her journey. And that was beautiful for me to watch, as awful as it was. And so there's just something about humans and this experience, and that it's all temporary, and this body is housing a soul, and it doesn't always work on our time frame in the way we want it, right? And so I do things in her honor. I talk to her. I think, what would my mom tell me at this moment? And then there's just a certain peace that comes with, and this is the way life is. Nothing is forever. I'm not, you're not. I read a book called Time Management for the Mortal. I think that's what it's called, Time Management for the Mortal. And it's like, if you live till about 80, you have something like, I don't know, something awful, like 5,000 weeks or 8,000 weeks. And you're like, oh my goodness. And so there's just something so true about life being temporary. So all of it is. So just do the best that you can with what you've got today, because tomorrow is not promised. I'm grateful for yesterday, but I don't know that tomorrow's coming. So how can I live with purpose, with intention today, even with the things that cause me pain, that I love so deeply that I can be so happy, and I can also have such deep pain. It's all on a spectrum, right? One comes with the other. To imagine to love something so much and never have any pain is, you're missing the point.
Similar to what you said about the book of however many weeks he said.
Yeah.
There was a comedian, his name is Dion Cole. He had a bit where he said, he was talking to the audience, he said one day he thought about it. I think he was like 50 or something, and he broke down the average age of Black Americans. He was like, when I thought about it, I only got 23 summers left.
Yeah, I know.
And the crowd got quiet, and he's like, yeah, it's different when you think about it that way.
I know. Maybe I'm at my halfway point, or maybe I'm past it. I might be past it.
What's a question you wish you got asked more?
Whoa. You didn't tell me you were going to ask that. That was a good question.
I didn't know I was going to ask it either.
Yeah.
Ain't no rush. Take your time.
What's a question I wish people would ask me more? I'm stunned. I'm speechless. How? How can we do it? How can we fix it? How can we help? How? And that the how be not ego driven, right? Not how can I do it and then feel good about myself, or like, I don't know, sometimes people want to help and then they want to snap the picture and post it to make themselves feel good about it, right? Like how on the inside, right? How can I really help?
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I'm curious. So like with what you do, Grant is nonprofit helping kids. I'm sure you get those kind of people who come and say, I want to be a supportive, but they come, take their selfie, and then they leave, or,
Yeah.
Have you been able to kind of see that coming already based on when you meet them, or,
I try not to profile people too much, right? I've learned to just manage my expectations. I don't know what's going to come of anything. So somebody tells me they're going to write a big old check. I hope that it happens, but I'm not expecting it, right? So I love to be surprised that actually happened. I want to change my mind about things. I want to be like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. So yeah, I just try to manage my expectations. Sometimes people overpromise and underdeliver. Sometimes people underpromise and overdeliver. I love that.
Yeah.
So I just manage me. I just manage my expectations. I can't fix anything else, right? And so, from that place, it's all okay. It's all enough. So if people want to take the picture and want or the building named after them, or get upset that we didn't thank them in some particular way they wanted, I apologize. I'm so sorry or whatever. But then it's about them.
Yeah.
And then in that case, it's still not about me. And I'm not going to change their mind about them until they find that peace for themselves, if ever. Again, not my business.
I like that. And the fact when you said that about, what did you say? I forgot what you said, but it triggered me to think about Rob.
Mm-hmm.
He, when I went to, or when he was on my podcast, he talked about it. Similarly, they get those people too. You know, they come to the chair, but it's more about, let me take the picture in the tunnel.
Yep.
But he said one time these people came with, I guess they didn't know what they're getting into, but they came with their belts and, you know, they're very
fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And he kind of was like, okay, here we go again. But then it shifted to where there were some of the most helping, eye-opening people
you never know.
Never would have guessed, I guess, that would be based on how they looked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's true. You really do. You really
literally-
never know who's going to be the people who are really ready to go to the trenches with you.
Yeah, you never know. And I love creating space where we can foster that. So the one of the ways that we help at St. Jude's Ranch to help shine a light is my kids at the ranch make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I do post some pictures about that because it brings me such joy while I'm not showing the faces of the kids.
Yeah.
That kids that are really in a tough time of their life can make a sandwich with love and compassion and write a love note, and knowing that they're not going to hand it out, right? That they're just going to give it to somebody who's going to go hand it out. So they don't even have to bear witness either.
Yeah.
Right? They just have to help. And so I just love this idea, and the way we, you know, when Rob comes, we kind of talk a little bit about what they're doing. The kids are like, who is this for? You know, and we say, like, do you know anybody that's homeless? And they're like, oh, yeah, my mom, my uncle, my aunt, I was homeless, this, that, and the other. And so then it's like, okay, well, there's people right now that are hungry and tomorrow are going to get maybe the only thing they get to eat because you made it. So make it good. And they sit up a little higher. Like, it feels good to give back. And it's so cool because they don't even know who's getting the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? They're just making it. And so it just feels so good to create those things. Things like that just literally make my heart like explode with joy.
That's beautiful. I like that the kids are learning, in a sense, how to give back already. That's
when they may think they have nothing to give, right? Because they're like not with their family. They don't have all the things. They have abuse. They have all these things. And it feels like maybe they don't have anything to give, and yet they can make a sandwich.
That's amazing. I love what Rob's doing. I love that
I
love that you guys are. There's no way I would have guessed how their nonprofit, what they're doing, and yours could come together.
I know.
But you guys made it happen.
I know. And we do it on the regular with some great helpers that, you know. Anyways, it's incredible, right?
Speaking of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Every once in a while. It's delicious.
Grape or strawberry jelly?
Grape.
All right, this podcast is over.
Stop it.
She's lost me there. Whoa.
100% grape.
I'm asked the audience, I want you to comment on this. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, grape or strawberry? And if you say grape, please go get checked in somewhere.
Stop it.
You need help.
No.
Strawberry only.
No.
Wow. The best I've ever had was, I had a roommate, and he would have guests from out the country come, and they gave him a raspberry chipotle.
Ooh.
It was so good.
Yeah,
like,
that's sweet and
it had a
savory.
nice kick, not too much. There's actually a good person I have a jelly at my home. It's strawberry chipotle at the farmer's market. They're there and they have it, and I get it often.
Nice.
I have a few more questions. We'll wrap up here. I want to ask you this question. What season of life are you in currently? Are you building, healing, resting, or evolving?
I haven't had a rest period yet, but I'm not in it.
Ooh.
So
okay,
if it's linear, I skipped one. I'll come back to it. I haven't had the rest. What did you say the last one? Evolving?
Yeah, or building, healing.
I'm in evolving.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it.
What advice would you give Christina at 18 with the baby finishing high school?
Yeah. Just keep being bold. It took so much courage. I'm so grateful for that little 18-year-old girl who thought she knew and was scared out of her mind to just keep taking that step forward, In hindsight, I can't believe the things that have happened, but it didn't happen in big sweeps and, leaps. It happened just day by day, doing the hard work. So anybody can do that, right? Today, whatever it is today, just do the work, right? And people are doing incredible things. But I'm so grateful for the 18-year-old who fell in love with her beautiful daughter enough to say, I got to find a way. Had no idea what I was doing. None. No idea. And just little by little, right? These courageous steps forward. Yeah. Super grateful for that little girl.
And we'll wrap up here with the final question. Dun, dun, dun. I was just actually randomly, I was watching How to Be a Millionaire.
Okay.
It came on. I don't know. It's nothing to do with the question, but as I said that, I was like, wow, that was a good show when I was a kid. I remember there was an episode where he was like, he's going to phone a friend.
Yeah.
He phoned his dad and was like, Dad, I just want to let you know I'm about to win $1 million. And then he answered the question right.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What's a quote you live by and why?
Yeah. So a Persian poet said, Rumi is the poet, said, yesterday I was clever and I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise and I'm changing myself. So I do want to change the world, but it's not mine to change, but I can change me and how I interact with the world so that in my little sphere of influence and my ripple of impact, maybe I'm doing something good. That quote has become more relevant as I've started to manage my expectations about humans. I have high expectations. Like, doesn't everybody see it that way? Doesn't everybody care about that? Doesn't everybody want to help? And if I got stuck there, I'd be paralyzed because the problems are so big. So I have to let that go, right? I got to let it go. People may not see it the same way. That's okay. I'm going to see it my way. It might be different to somebody else. So my way of contributing to the world is by taking care of myself. Doing my own work, the things that feel natural to me. So again, it says, yesterday I was clever and I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself.
That's fire. I heard a similar quote. It was from a movie. It's probably not a good example with everything that's going on now, because the person who it was, he was a famous artist who's in trouble right now. We'll just say that.
Okay.
But in the movie, he had said that to Notorious B.I.G. He was like, can't change the world, let's change yourself. And that movie came out when I was young, and I was like, damn, that's so real.
Yeah.
I love that, Christina.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming on here, shedding light on your story, who you are. I hope people who see this and they see St. Jude's Ranch for Children, see who's behind it, the work you're doing. Not just your personal work, but the work for the nonprofit is amazing.
Thank you.
Someone who's homeless as a kid and all that, I understand what you're doing. The impact you're having is phenomenal. Is there anything going down or coming up this summer that you want to let us know about?
Yeah, well, we always have volunteer opportunities.
Okay.
So people can visit us on our website at stjudesranch.org or on social media, mostly Facebook and Instagram. So if people want to get involved, they can come volunteer. They can bring their kids out. We have all kinds of volunteer opportunities. And we are hosting our fundraiser for the year called a Gala for Good. And it's on Saturday, September 20th. And it's St. Jude's Ranch for Children's 59th birthday. So we're hosting, Caesars is our presenting sponsor. We're hosting at Planet Hollywood, a Gala for Good. And it's just going to be a fun party and a celebration of 59 years of giving to this community. And so if people want to come help or sponsor or volunteer, there's all kinds of ways to get involved. It's going to be a good party because we're not doing those long speeches and rubber chicken dinner. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're going to mix it up and have a great time and celebrate what a community of hope really looks like. So yeah, join us.
I love that. So I will add all those links to the description of this podcast. Once again, thank you for coming on today. And my beautiful audience, thank you. 1 year of the BambooSZN Podcast. So I got to leave you with the word. I'm going to tie into what Christina said about doing the work day in and day out. Some days you're going to knock out 10 tasks. Some days you're going to knock out one. Regardless, keep watering your garden. You planted that seed for change. Now continue to water and give it love every day so you can flourish in the future. That's what BambooSZN is about. Doing the work without seeing the growth immediately and trusting that it's still going to come. 2 words. Keep growing.